Is it enough to have the skill and technical know-how to run your gun, to be a good shot? Is that good enough? Is being a good shot and having great tactics all that's needed to win a true self-defense encounter? Is that all we need? Is it that simple? Here's a guy who speaks on it from great experience, and I'm inclined to definitely agree with what he says here. I'm going to read the questions. He's going to answer. Here we go. Can you think of any specific examples where somebody had the technical skill to handle the problem in front of them, but they weren't prepared for the mental load or the decision making that was required?
Well, I'd say that we see that every day. If you watch Bad Cam, you'll occasionally see some stellar rock stars on Bad Cams, but we see most of the time is people that are barely surviving the confrontation, primarily because they suck less than their opponents, right? So probably the example, a really good example, a tragic example, was the murder of Deputy Kyle Dinkheller that took place down in Georgia. If you go back and look at the training on Dinkheller, his co-workers thought he was the best shot in the police department. If they had had to pick one person to win a gunfight, they would have picked Kyle. But when you watch that video, you see that he did not handle that fight the way that he would have wanted, whoever anybody would have wanted to. We would have wanted the good guy to win. So that would just be a classic example that everybody's very familiar with, of somebody not being able to perform well the moment the flag flies.
Are there any hobbies or careers or other pursuits outside of defense specific training that can help us learn to better adapt to high pressure situations?
Yeah, so that's what we have to understand is what we're struggling to do, first and foremost, is to develop emotional control. We are trying to let the subconscious trust the rational mind and let it stay in control of the problem. So there's research that comes to us out of the military, out of the selection for high-end military units. There's certain recreational activities like skydiving, rock climbing, and motorcycle racing that people that excel in those three arenas tend to do very, very well in high-end military units, because all those skills basically require that you be able to maintain self-control, you be able to perform fine motor skills while under literally life and death stress. I also think it goes to, that's your idea of fun. We're always assessing the problem in the terms of how bad is this? Well, people that go out and engage in those kind of activities, their how bad meter is kind of broken, for lack of better words, or certainly not like normal folks. So when they get into difficult situations, their idea of how bad it doesn't even blip the radar. So they're able to perform much better.
So him saying it's broken. So for sure, there are some people where that's actually broken, and sometimes it's not even a good thing. I actually know someone who used to tell me crazy stories, and he actually, he admitted, he's like, I don't think I have a danger meter in my head, because he would walk into stupid situations unarmed, like without a plan, and just do stupid stuff. And he admitted, like, it was just dumb that he did that, and he was lucky. Well, so there is that, but it's not for a lot of us. It's not that it's broken. It's just that it's irrelevant. So how bad is this is irrelevant. So you've been through it so much, maybe even not even people who've been through it a bunch of times, but it's just not relevant, right? So when it happens, you're not thinking, oh my God, and measuring how bad it is. It's just game time. And let me just expand on that a little bit. At some point in our lives, speaking on those of us who learn to excel in the moment of truth, at some point in our life, maybe very, very early, but at some point in our life, we realize that in the moment when things are happening, if you lag behind and you take us any amount of time to go, why is this happening? You are behind the curve and you're likely to lose. And you'll find this out in sports. You'll find this out in almost anything. If you're just in the moment going, oh my God, now you're behind the curve. You could have used that couple of seconds of thought to better analyze the situation, figure out how to win, how to dominate, how to control the scenario, what have you. And so we learn to get beyond that. So when we're in the moment, we know, hey, there's no time for why me. There's no time for, I can't believe this is happening. There's no time for any of that. As soon as it starts happening, it's the first person to figure this out, the first person to analyze and adapt to the scenario, they're likely to win. It's just like owning the drop. You need to own the mental drop just as well as you need to own the physical drop. Thinking the what ifs, the why me, the I can't believe this is, you're losing ground to owning the mental drop of the situation. It's time to fight. And you're not worried about how bad is it. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me, et cetera, et cetera. It's go time. And you're not even thinking about that. You're thinking about, how am I going to win? How am I going to survive? I need to dominate this situation. And that is where your mind is focused. You're not thinking about anything else except win, survive.